I've always had a bit of a love-hate relationship with truly wireless in-ear headphones. There's no denying how useful these devices are, but I just haven't found one that I really liked. The ones I've tried usually either suffer from poor audio quality, poor battery life, or poor connectivity, sometimes all three. And of course, it really doesn't help that my ears are just so picky when it comes to in-ear headphones because so many of them just don't fit. But then I got to try Sony's brand new WF-1000XM3 headphones, and let's just say that they are utterly incredible. Now I guess I shouldn't be surprised because Sony's no stranger to the audio game, and the WF-1000XM3s are their latest entry into the truly wireless headphone segment.
But they're entering the market in a little bit of a disadvantage right now because truly wireless earbuds have been around for quite a long time now, and a lot of smartphone makers like Apple and Samsung have their own variants that work well with their smartphones. So you've got the Apple AirPods, obviously the infamous sort of toothbrush in your ear design, and then you've got the Galaxy Buds, which I actually have been using for quite a while now. In fact, they're right here. These little guys. So these are the Galaxy Buds. Boop. As you can see, really small, truly wireless also.
And working well with a smartphone or mobile device is crucial when it comes to something that's all about portability, because people are almost always going to use something like this with their smartphone. However, if you look at Sony's current track record with smartphones, you can definitely see that they are a little behind their competition, which means that they can't leverage that convenience as a strength.
But the thing about the WF-1000XM3, besides having a longer and more complicated and more difficult to remember name, is that these have something none of those earbuds have.
And that secret sauce is something called active noise cancellation, or ANC. Yes, that magical thing that some headphones are able to do to almost entirely drown out loud ambient sounds. Which is why I'm in this really noisy train somewhere in Japan, traveling from Shinjuku to Chichibu. Because Sony doesn't want to just tell me that their new headphones are good, they actually want to show me how good they really are. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what active noise cancellation is, it's not the same as passive noise cancellation. You know, the kind of isolation you get just by getting a pair of headphones to fit tightly in or over your ears. Active noise cancellation actually sees the headphones pipe a specific second sound that's designed to cancel out stuff like ambient noise, so a good pair gets quiet, like really quiet. This is possible on the WF-1000XM3 because it has Sony's very own HD noise cancelling processor called the QN1E. Working in tandem with a couple of microphones, the QN1E is able to detect ambient noise in your surroundings and then immediately cancel them out. Traditionally, ANC is a feature you'd find on large over-ear headphones, so the fact that Sony is able to do this on something as small as the WF-1000XM3 is already very impressive. But what is truly spectacular is the quality of noise cancellation you're able to get. For my money, the best ANC headphones in the market right now are Sony's very own WH-1000XM3s. And what really impressed me was how much of that experience the company was able to transfer over to a pair of headphones that are just a fraction of the size. The smaller WF-1000XM3 headphones have pretty much the same noise cancellation profiles. You have the ambient sound mode that actually pipes in audio from the outside, then you can turn off ANC if you want to save battery, and finally you have noise cancelling. Turn it on and you get a kind of sound that's almost like the noise is being sucked out of your ears. But of course, it doesn't mean that you're completely isolated from all noise. ANC, as magical as it is, isn't magic. It works best when your ambient sound is constant, so sudden loud noises don't get blocked as well. And as good as they are on the WF-1000XM3s, I still don't think that they're quite on the level of the larger WH-1000XM3s. Almost by design, these earbuds are already a step behind their over-ear brothers. I don't know if you've eaten anything with in-ear headphones on before, but your chewing and slurping sounds really loud. Your own voice is also amplified, as is your walking and breathing, and these are not problems you'll ever have to face with over-ear headphones. But of course, the trade-off is that the over-ear cans are much bigger in size. Still, the fact that they're able to retain what I feel is about 80% of the ANC capabilities of the bigger headphones is truly an impressive feat. However, while ANC is cool and all, these are still first and foremost truly wireless earbuds, so it would be pointless if they sucked at being headphones. Let's start with audio quality. Now, don't be mistaken, these aren't designed to sound like in-ear monitors. And when I asked Sony about how they tune their headphones, their answer was that they wanted to give users the best enjoyment when listening to music.
And honestly, I think they sound great. So I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Buds for quite a while now, and they're basically my only in-ear truly wireless pair of headphones. And I always thought that they sounded quite lame, but I wasn't prepared for how lame they actually sounded compared to this.
The WF-1000XM3s have a very full and rich sound to them that indeed makes music listening fun. The bass line is front and center without being overwhelming, and that does a lot to make things sound fun. They have that Sony sound signature to them in a way that makes them sound a lot like the larger WH-1000XM3s. But you know, I wouldn't call myself an audiophile, I just know what I like and what I don't, and I think a lot of you will like how these sound too. Of course, with in-ear headphones, the important thing to get the full experience is to ensure you have a good fit. I was probably the most nervous about this aspect because if they didn't fit, then I wouldn't be able to review them. But you can really tell that these are high-end headphones simply by the number of ear tips that they include in the box. You get 4 pairs of silicone tips in varying sizes and 3 pairs of foam tips to boot. Thankfully, after a little fiddling, I finally got a tight seal with the largest silicone tip. I really appreciate it when manufacturers go to these additional lengths just to make sure everyone gets a good fit. So kudos, Sony. That being said, there is one aspect about the ergonomics of these in-ear headphones that I don't enjoy. The headphones have a little bit of an L shape to them, and when I wear them securely, the little corner of the L actually pinches the small protruding part of my ear that Google tells me is called the tragus. I didn't notice the pinching at all while I was wearing them, but when I took them off after a couple of hours, my ears were actually really sore. And that's a shame because for the most part, these earbuds are actually really comfortable. But again, not all ears are the same shape, so you may never encounter this problem. With that out of the way, let's move on to connectivity and battery life. Sony's WF-1000XM3 headphones take a little bit of a different approach when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity. Rather than connecting to one bud and then relaying the sound, the Sony headphones transmit audio to both earbuds simultaneously, which they say helps reduce latency, another common problem with Bluetooth buds. I was a little skeptical at first, but I have to say that the connection was very solid throughout my testing. Sony lets you switch between 2 connection modes in their smartphone app, allowing you to prioritize either sound quality or a stable connection. In my experience, sound quality works well if you're not moving through an area with a lot of wireless signals, like, during my train ride. But when I was walking through town, I had to switch to prioritizing a stable connection, otherwise the audio would cut out very frequently. In general though, I really didn't have much to complain about when it comes to connectivity. It hardly ever cut out for me when I was prioritizing a stable connection, but the audio quality still sounded fine to my ears. Plus, when I was watching videos on my smartphone, I didn't really experience any noticeable delay between the visuals happening on screen and the audio that I was listening to. There was only one instance, I think, where the earbuds were a touch slower, but simply resetting the connection fixed it for me. So I'd say that when it comes to latency, Sony really held up their end of the bargain. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about battery life. Sony quotes up to 6 hours of life on a single charge with ANC turned on, but in my experience, I was getting a lot closer to 5 hours. I mean, it's still pretty darn good if you consider the fact that other earbuds of this kind get about the same amount of playtime without ANC. One unique thing I noticed about the WF-1000XM3 is that these buds don't run out of battery at the same rate. And if one side runs out earlier, you can actually still listen to the other side, which I guess is kinda neat. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the Sony WF-1000XM3s. I think they sound great, they're well built, and they've got some of the best active noise cancellation that I've heard on any pair of headphones. I also grew to like the way they look and how securely they fit into my ears despite not featuring any wingtips or straps. I tried my best to shake them off with intense head banging, but ultimately was unable to. Of course, it's not perfect. I think the case is also a little too big to not feature wireless charging, and if you were hoping to wear them in the rain, you might want to reconsider because these don't come with any IP or splash rating. I did wear them in a drizzle in Tokyo once, and they turned out fine, but I can't recommend that you do the same. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that will give people pause when considering buying these headphones is
The price tag, 949 ringgit. That's a lot of money for a pair of headphones, especially one like this. I mean, if you compare it to stuff like, the Galaxy Buds, which are like half the price. Even the AirPods are cheaper. But none of those have noise cancellation. So how important is that to you? If that's really important, then this is truly a one-of-a-kind product. And it's a one-of-a-kind product that really, really works.
And that's not something you can say every day. Sure, they are quite a lot more expensive, but that extra cost isn't for nothing. It's not like you're paying a badge tax or anything like that. You're paying more because these can do more, and when you look at it that way, I think they're worth it.